Hi again, it's me. So, as you can see, I'm not really looking that great. I've only been awake for about 30 minutes, and it's just me and you right now. I decided I would give you a little bit of idea of what my weight does to me and how it makes me feel, so to speak. It's actually kind of hard for me to say, to actually vocalize it, but that's the whole point of this, right? That's the whole point of The Biggest Loser, is to help you understand the causes of your weight issue and to help you work through those issues so that you can better lose the weight and become healthy quicker and be able to stay healthy, because without fixing those problems, it's just going to be a repetitious thing and you're going to fall back into it and gain all the weight back, and that's not what I want to do. I've been, I wouldn't say obese, but overweight most of my life, even as a child. Growing up with 8 brothers and sisters, you would expect at least a couple of them to have weight issues, but I am the only one in my family that does, and that made it really hard growing up to feel like I didn't even belong with my family, because we went somewhere all together and people would look at us and you get those stares like, what is she doing with them? She's so much bigger than they are. And it was hard. My brothers and sisters used to tease me about my weight, and that would just make me even more upset and make me want to eat, because if I was fat now, and might as well get fatter, because what else could I do? And there's other things that have caused my weight, which I'll get to, but that was one of my biggest struggles, was dealing with the fact that I felt like I wasn't a part of my family, like I didn't fit in, and for somebody to feel that way all the time, it was hard for me. And there were several nights that I cried myself to sleep when I was younger, because I felt like I needed to be somewhere else, like I didn't feel a part of my family and that I belonged with my brothers and sisters, because they didn't look like me and I didn't look like them. Other than our facial features, you couldn't tell we were really related, or at least that's how I felt. I had 3 sisters and they were all around the same size. I have 2 big sisters and a little sister, and growing up, they always shared clothes, and that was one thing that I really wish I could have done. And always being bigger than them, I was never able to do that. So it definitely made it hard. And I still struggle with that fitting in thing with my family, because still to this day, I'm the only overweight person. Other than my dad. My dad has some weight issues, but for a guy, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Society looks down more on women for being obese than they do for guys. And my dad's not even really obese, he's just slightly overweight. He's 240, and what makes me feel even worse is I weigh more than my dad does, and my dad is twice my age. And so that's hard. I guess my weight started really being put on when I was younger. We were put into foster care when I was 7, and I went to a home, and my foster dad molested me, and for years I blamed myself for it, because I woke up in the middle of it and I didn't try to stop him, and I felt like it was my fault because I let it happen. If I hadn't have fell asleep right there, he wouldn't have done it, what he did to me. And I felt like since I didn't tell him no, that it was my fault. And later on growing up, I realized it wasn't my fault, that I was just a child and he was it all. He was the one to blame. But then I had a new guilt, because it wasn't my fault, but it was my fault if it happened to anybody else, because I didn't tell anybody. I never verbally said, he did this to me, and if I had, it might have prevented it from happening to other girls. And so I've went with that guilt for a long time, blaming myself that if I had done something and stepped up and spoke about it to somebody, that, maybe it would have prevented it from happening to somebody else. And at that point, I think that's part of what's caused my weight issues, because after that one time of it happening, I was so afraid of it happening again that I paid more attention to what society looked at, even at the age of 7 or 8, and realized that guys don't like fat girls. So I decided at that age that if I become fat, no guy's gonna want me, and they won't want to do that to me, and I wouldn't have to face it anymore. And so I just started eating and putting the weight on, because I felt like if I had that, I wouldn't have to worry about being raped or molested or having any guy treat me the way I shouldn't be treated. And I don't feel that way so much anymore, because I've met the man of my life, the man of my dreams, and he treats me the way a woman should be treated, and I love him with all my heart, and I know he'd never do that to me, but it's a little too late. It's the weight's there, and it's a lot harder to come off than it is to put on. And now I have a new issue in my life that causes the weight, and contrary to what you may believe, when you're told that you have to lose weight to have a child, most people jump on that and they do everything they can. Well, I wanted to too, but I found out last year that I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which makes it harder to lose the weight on your own. I have to take medication every day, which I'm not very good at taking, and I need to get into. But it also increases your odds of having miscarriage, and it makes it harder to carry that child. So to decrease the odds that the PCOS is giving you of a miscarriage, you have to lose a lot of weight before your doctors will even okay you to have a child. My biggest struggle right now is I'm a preschool teacher, as you saw, and I'm usually a bubbly personality, and I love to make people laugh, and I love to, make sure that people are feeling as best as they could and are happy and full of life, and deep down inside I'm not. I hold so much in, and I don't want to share it, because I don't want people to think that I'm this depressed person and that I have all these feelings inside that most people don't have. I want them to see that I have fun and I enjoy my life.